Who Stole the Empress is a webtoon with 5 stars. This Reddit post hates it. Let's find out why. The story starts with a lady in the middle of a raging blizzard, ready to accept her fate. This woman is manipulating the emperor to take out his wife, and due to his extreme ego, he doesn't really need much convincing. However, she's not just manipulating him, she's giving him a step-by-step plan on how to take out the empress, including taking out all her allies, ruining her image, and even cucking her freaking brother! How much of a hater do you have to be to plot this much of someone's downfall? I swear, it's not even like she did anything wrong. She's just more respected in the kingdom, and Emperor Fragile Ego here cannot allow such a sin. They are such haters that they even start getting freaky. Dang, that's a long neck. We then have the story completely glaze the Empress Rosalind, telling us that she's the peak of everything and everyone loves her. Well, considering her reputation, there's zero chance of this evil plan actually working. We time skip to a point where the plan has worked so well, this lady behind Rosalind is literally all she has. Not only that, but her leg is injured. Like, they had to take away everything from this woman in order to make this a fair fight. Rosalind is about to enter a party where the final phase of the plan is no doubt going to be enacted, but the one ally Rosalind has begs her not to go. In response, Rosalind tells her to run away from the capital if anything happens to her, but in reality, we all know she's so cooked. And thus, she enters the ball, immediately getting in a conversation with the Emperor, who speaks to her condescendingly, to which Rosalind responds with dialogue that is so elegant that I cannot help but to hate. Get this verbose cornball off my screen, man. Just enact the plan already! Wait, hold on. You're verbose too? No! Does everyone in this webtoon have to speak so pompously?
Well, Chalupa, have you ever considered that maybe you're just stupid?
You know what? Maybe you're right. This is, what, medieval times? Of course they're gonna all speak like that. Thanks, my loyal fan, for opening my eyes. Matter of fact, I got a gift for you. Over in the living room, there are flowers. Why don't you go take a look?
I don't really want.
Let's go have a look at them.
There's nothing here. Wait,
just look at the flowers,
that a
man.
Gun? Hold
just
on,
look at the
Chalupa,
flowers.
I'm sorry.
The mistress tells everyone that she's pregnant with the king's child, then stabs herself but makes it look like Rose did it. And thus, their plan has succeeded completely. But for some reason, the story takes focus on this one rando. Surely he has no part in the story. The one guy that was being focused on last episode is calling the Emperor a fool for throwing away the best thing their country has, while his sidekick points out the irony in the whole ordeal. And not only is she framed, but she gets tortured to reveal where her family's heirlooms are. So let me get this straight. They took out everyone who was her ally, framed her for attempted murder, and are now torturing her, all so they could get her family treasure? Alright, there was a bit of an ego problem there, but still, man, isn't this going a little overboard? What type of treasure is worth doing all this? This treasure has to actually morph me into the perfect creature in order for all of this to be warranted. Apparently, even with everything done, Rose still has the support of the people, begging her to be spared. And since he doesn't want to hear their cries anymore, he decides to technically let her go, but just via exiling her into a blizzard. But before that, to break her even further, he throws the heads of her parents. Dude, how much of a freaking hater do you have to be? Literally, all she did was be kind to the people around her, manage the country better, and just generally be smarter than the guy. And in response, the Emperor said,
"Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate."
After she was exiled, the guy who was yet to be named is absolutely disgusted with how Rose was treated and vows to one day burn the kingdom down in her honor. He then thinks about Rose, and it becomes obvious to us that he has a massive crush on her, which explains why he feels so strongly against the Empire. He then rushes to go find her, with his sidekick finally giving us a name reveal, which is it Tamon or Tamon? I'm just gonna call him Tamon. We then return to where we were in the beginning of the story, with Rose out in the snow, ready to die, and Tamon finding her just in time. Tamon feels so strongly about Rose and is angry at the fact that they couldn't have met first rather than her and the Emperor. Now everyone, let's do a little pop quiz. When you find your crush dying out in the snow, what should you do? Should you either A, save her, or B, save her?
I would choose option C.
What do you mean? There is no option C. There quite literally can't be any other... What are you doing in that picture? What the... Get off of her, man! Help her! Save her! Don't her! We get some lore on the magic of the world, and to sum it up, this guy created humanity, and in response, all his friends said, they spread his remains across the world, and some of his power went into 6 objects, while some of his other powers manifested in people and gave them powers. It's here we find out the Emperor has one of these powers, which is controlling weather, I think. I mean, death is right there too, so who knows. Well, either way, that means Rose really had no chance, because even if all her friends survived and she took a stand against him, he would have just unleashed his wrath on them. Tamon practically kidnaps Rose in disbelief that... What is this dialogue? I swear, if he didn't look like this and I was only looking at the dialogue, I would have been reading it like, I can't believe I'm actually holding her in my arms. It's surreal. After bringing her back to his camp, he has a flashback to a time where they met up to discuss Tamon getting an island, which Rose realizes the guy's after a treasure from a shipwreck, which she tells him has already been salvaged. However, she negotiated a deal where she gained the exclusive right to a silkworm? We then find out the reason why he kissed her is because he has some sort of healing power, and I've got a lot to say at the conclusion segment. Rose finally wakes up to Tamon quote-unquote healing her, and she rightfully slaps him away. She tells him to just let her die, and Tamon reminds her of what the Emperor did to her, and if she's really okay with just dying without justice. And unexpectedly, Rose says yes, just end her right there, to Tamon's shock. In other words... Well, clearly there's no coming back from this, so that means the webtoon is gonna end very... I don't even need to look behind me, man. Just get to the next one. After an uncomfortable amount of time contemplating ending Rose right then and there, he finally lets her go and tells her he wants her alive before kissing her leg. She's literally begging him to stop, but the word beg makes him go on some motivational speech, which would sound nice and all if he wasn't doing a little something a couple panels ago. We cut over to the Emperor, who after confirming if Rose is dead or not, is dead set on finding a necklace she owned, probably since it was magic or something. We then get a lore dump of this guy's family lineage, and his power is the gift of death. It's a good thing I didn't stick with the power of weather. Come to find out that the Emperor, who from now on I'm gonna call Chud, is actually the worst user of this power in his bloodline. Whereas it's implied the previous users were handing out death across the world to people who didn't bend to their will, he can only give them an illness that slowly kills them. And the cherry on top, every time he uses it, it takes a toll on his body. And since he used it to take out all her friends, it's safe to say he's finished. Not only that, but he couldn't use it on Rose herself because of the fact that they got married and did some blood sharing ritual, so he tried other ways to kill her, and apparently the necklace saved her every time. Are we sure he actually inherited his family's power? Everything's suggesting Chud is nothing more than a fraud. It feels more like his dad lied about him inheriting a power, and then a series of the world's worst coincidences happened to convince him that he's actually gifted. And so, when he tried to use that power on Rose and nothing happened, he automatically blamed everything else. He then does a corny, crazy laugh to himself thinking Rose is dead, but this pathetic, sorry emperor is pissing his pants scared from a painting falling. And then he cuts up her painting, which just makes him look even more pathetic since he's clearly scared of a woman who in his mind is dead. And he forgot his body is still weak from using his death note from Timu, so he starts screaming in pain. I think this webtoon has broken the record for the most oral loss in one scene. Loser, 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 loser. We oversee the group making their way through a desert, with Rose saying she'd much rather be dealing with the cold than the heat, which makes sense. When you get used to a certain climate, going somewhere where there's a drastic change in the climate can definitely be uncomfortable. But hey, at least she's not like the British and complaining about the most normal of temperatures. She then reminisces on... Let me just rub my eyes, maybe I'm misreading it. Wait a second, I don't have eyes, which means I can see perfectly, which means I didn't misread anything. In that case, what the hell is this? Oh wait, never mind, she's healed. That means all of that was okay. Dude, I feel so bad for Rose because both of the loves in her life are horrendous. On one hand, we have a guy that is horribly pathetic but still wants to get rid of her at all costs due to his undeserved ego. And on the other, we got Mr. No does not mean no. What did she do to deserve this? She says that he can try and save her all he wants, but she can just off herself, to which Tamon replies that he'll just bring her back to life if she does that. Now, usually, if you knew someone could bring you back to life if you died, you'd be more than comforted. However, in this context, this line of dialogue feels more like... They finally make it back to his homeland, and Tamon wastes no time getting somewhere with Rose, oh gosh. Apparently, what he was rushing towards was a bath for both him and Rose, and he instructs his man to not let anyone in and leave them alone, oh boy, oh please no. She wakes up after suddenly being put in water, and she's surprised how someone who isn't even royalty is able to have a private bath. Then, she spots his dagger, and slowly but surely inches her way over to it, while telling Tamon saving her was a bad idea. She then asks why he even brought her there, and then he looks at her lustfully. How much longer is this episode? She tells him to find another woman as she's not interested, but he's not interested in another woman and only has eyes for her, whether she likes it or not. Then finally, she gets her hands on that dagger, but instead of using it on him, like I thought she would, she used it on herself. Dude, I don't really want to continue, but do I? You know what? Let me flip a coin, and if it lands on heads, I'll read just one more episode. Alright, cool. I'm done with it. Webtoon over. Alright, I read it, and I get the hate. No but, I completely get the hate. Let's just get the elephant out of the room, man. Why? Look, man, if you wanted to make him a healer, then make him a healer. If you want to make him heal in an abstract way, then make him heal with spit. Worked for Steven Universe.
Be racist.
But why does this have to be the way he heals? And why is consent thrown out of the window whenever he does it? I can't even really fault the characters. This is all on the writers deciding the absolute worst way to portray a healer in fiction. JoJo did it better. TF2 did it better. Even Lab Rats did it better. How are you gonna let Disney XD's lab rats portray healing better than you? You know what? Screw Tamon. Let's replace him with Leo Dooley. By far the best love interest she's had so far. Yes, the bar isn't very high, but come on, guys, who's with me? Let's make this into a new ship, Rosa Leo. It's now official. Spread the word to everyone! On to the rest of the webtoon. Chud is a pretty easy to hate guy and seriously can be an entertaining character in that you can't wait to see his inevitable downfall. But unfortunately, that kind of potential in his character is wasted on this garbage webtoon. Then there's the dialogue. Let me just remind you of this line here. I think that gets the point across. And you know what? I'm spinning back to the elephant in the room because who wrote this crap? I thought it was bad when it was kissing. And then it devolved so incredibly quickly, you'd think they were speedrunning, getting all eyes off of the webtoon. Oh gosh, this might be wrong of me to do, but I gotta do this bit. Oops, he kissed her without consent. At least he isn't going any further. Oi, 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 he is going further. Zoo-wee mama. I don't have much more words for this webtoon other than don't read it, not worth your time. It has 5 stars for a reason. And so with that, final statement. Anyways, I am delighted to say that's gonna wrap up this video. Thank you guys for watching this video in its entirety. If you guys liked this video, then please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you guys haven't already, then consider joining the channel membership to further support these videos and for content that I promise is coming soon. If you guys have any video suggestions or any other webtoons you'd like me to read, then please leave it in the comments section below. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.